First Laugh Podcast, the Donnie B's Comedy Clubs of Central Illinois-based podcast. Hope y'all motherfuckers like listening to one of the top 3 podcasts in the nation.
Welcome, Street Kings. Joe the Animal Lancey on the show today. Boxer, dog killer, stand-up comedian from St. Louis.
Josh just likes to dig that hole as deep as fucking possible before he throws it to you so you can fucking claw your way out.
Claw your way up the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like Donnie B running a fucking show.
Yeah, where Donnie B just hedges his bets for the openers. Like, we gotta come into the stage.
These guys are
they
starting
gotta
out.
practice.
They gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, don't.
Just bear with him a few minutes.
It's only going to be 5. No matter how bad it gets, it's going to be over with soon. He called you a dog killer because you were an animal control motherfucker, right? For a long time.
15 years and counting. Well, I kind of do it now, but I don't do a lot of it now.
How do you kind of do it now?
I was going to say, you're just
write
dabbling
tickets.
in dog murder?
I just write tickets anymore.
Like, so you're still employed by him and you go around and write
No,
tickets?
I'm employed by a small municipality in North St. Louis, and I just kind of get some dog complaint, a vicious dog or dog run loose. Here's your ticket.
So you just have a booklet of tickets you can just hand out?
Well, kind of, sort of.
Are you employed or are you not employed?
I am employed.
Okay, so now it's just a part-time gig?
No, it's a full-time gig being employed.
Oh, I thought you were retired and shit.
No.
Well,
So
never mind.
so you've been animal control this whole time then?
No, I did code enforcement. I do mostly code enforcement. Probably the last 7 years been mostly code enforcement.
When you said I did code, I thought you were going to say, no, I did coke for a few years.
Cocaine.
I used to have a major problem.
That's why I
Been
didn't
running
work
drugs
for a
from
while.
Mexico. I'm a drug mule for the Grateful Dead.
Oh, wow. So you, 15 year in your stand-up, you have a whole lot of stories about how you wrestle these animals. And all this
And
crazy
it's all
shit.
true, and there's probably some I don't even tell.
I'm
you know.
sure.
They're just so grim you can't even tell them.
Well, you tell a few that are grim on fucking stage. I mean, you don't. That's the thing, man. Like, and that makes me laugh so hard about your shit is that like you don't sugarcoat it because you're like it. Like you're like the old grandpa who was in World War II who's seen some shit, so he doesn't sugarcoat the rest of it. Like in one of your bits, you talk about like fucking cutting a dog's head off. Which is like, I mean, you know, again, in context, we're talking about
That's
your
when they
job.
left off the job interview. They said you may help the veterinarian harvest a specimen.
You may sew a
And,
motherfucking
they didn't
dog
tell
head
me all of
off.
a sudden. They hand me a dull scalpel and they tell me to slice the head off a Rottweiler.
So when you say help a veterinarian harvest the specimen, so the vet comes in or whatever, or does the vet not even there yet?
The vet wasn't even there yet. The
So-
vet got his hand bit off. He was getting ready to euthanize a dog.
Yeah.
And it turned on him, and all he could do was put his hand up,
Yeah.
and the dog chomped on his hand, and he took the other hand and stabbed it in the heart with the kill juice.
Yeah.
So now they got this, you know,
The kill
normally when
juice.
a dog bites someone, you wait 10 days, and if it's still alive at the end of 10 days, it don't have rabies. It didn't die of rabies. It'll die of rabies within 10 days.
Yeah.
But since this one died, they had to send the brain off to the lab. They're not going to send a full Rottweiler in a box. They're going to send just the brain off. So they just have you slice the head off.
What's in the box?
Yeah, I remember, dude, my mom, when I don't know why I get these flashes back when I was a kid, she was like, oh, yeah, and the only way to find out if it has rabies is to cut its head off. I remember thinking like that was an old wives' tale, but you're saying that's true.
Oh, yeah. They had John, this guy I used to work with, he was sugar-coated. We're going to test it.
Right.
He didn't say what testing for rabies was. And the people showed up and they said, oh, we decided to take Fluffy away for the weekend. Ron looks at me and goes, "Hey, Joe, get the needle and thread." I just cut Fluffy's head off.
We're going to have to go a weekend at
I had
Bernie's.
to go out and tell these people that I cut their Doberman Pinscher's head off.
Oh my god!
I thought the guy was going to swing on me.
What did he say? I mean, like,
Oh, he was strutting around with his chest poked out, and I said, "You best just calm down, sir. I'm going to call the cops on you.
I'll cut your fucking head off,
And
too.
I'll throw you in. I'll send you off for testing next."
at this point, were you a boxer? Were you boxing?
Oh, I was done with boxing.
But
back-
you
I was
still-
probably in my 40s when I became a dog catcher.
But still, though, I mean, in a street fight, unless a dude's got a knife or a gun, you're probably going to win, right? I mean, just,
Well, probably, even old as I am, I'm still probably the baddest person in St. Louis comedy, and comedy, period.
well, that's not saying much. That's you and
I
Garrett.
like
Todd.
being a kid, yeah.
But you were in your early 40s, and this dude is fucking walking around. So at least you knew that if this guy swings on me, I'm gonna fucking beat the fuck out of him.
Oh, I got in a fight. I about got in a fight with a cop killer.
A cop killer.
Yeah.
Ice-T?
No, this guy was Marcus Tatum. He was his brother. I think his brother killed a cop in Kirkwood. He walked up and shot a cop in the face. And this guy shot somebody, ended up shooting somebody else and killing him. I don't know he was a cop killer. I know his brother was a cop killer.
So wait, this is in St. Louis while you were in animal
yeah,
control?
when I was in animal control, he was a dog fighter. And I walked up and I seen the dog had bites all over and I was gonna seize it. He's going, "You ain't gonna take my dog," and he's beating his hand. I go, "You want to put one on my chin here and I'll see here."
Yeah.
The cops yanked me that way and they yanked him that way.
So before the fight could go down.
Yeah, we
So
got
you're just
yanked
begging
apart.
for it. You're begging for it.
I go, "Come on,
Give
swing
me a
at me."
fucking reason.
Do you just walk around waiting for motherfuckers to try it, Joe? Like, relive the glory days of punching a motherfucker in the face?
I try not to. I really try not to. One of these days, somebody's going to yank my chain.
But that's got to be such a different way of looking at life, or at least walking through life. I mean, because I think we all have, like, the family member who whatever has been in 5,000 fights. But I mean, the fact that again, even at how old are you now? What, 42, 43?
No, I'm 59.
39,
I'm
59.
85 years old.
But I mean, like, literally, but even walking around now, and the fact that you're such a proficient fighter and you have all this history and you're not afraid of getting punched in the goddamn face, that life is just different for you. You know what I mean? Like, at least with me, I'm like, okay, if somebody pisses me off, maybe something will happen. But you're like, yeah, I've been punched in the face. I don't give a fuck, please.
I'm
Let's
just
do
going to
this.
take as many people out. I about got into it at fireworks display. This kid shot some cars.
God, that is the most white trash thing I've
I
ever heard.
got into it at a fireworks display.
It was 4th of July, Troy, and
Yeah.
this kid was shooting fireworks, bounced them off the window of my car, and I go, "Dude, that's my car." "Oh, is that your car?" And he shot the second one.
Ooh.
I started chasing him.
What a badass.
Yeah,
Oh, is that your car? Oh, man.
he took off running, and his dad came up poking his chest out. I swung at his dad, and somebody yanked me backwards. I just missed his chin.
When was
Oh, my
this?
Well, that
God.
was a couple years ago, about
So
5
this-
years ago.
Okay, so you're still in your 50s at this point, like mid-50s, mid to late
Probably,
50s.
yeah.
Man, getting in a fist fight at a fireworks stand is the most white trash thing
Was
I've
it
ever
just
heard.
over the state line? Please tell me it was just over the state line.
No, it was in Troy. I mean, it was in my hometown of Troy.
Oh, my God.
So before you were doing the dog catching thing and before you did the comedy, you were a boxer, like you said. How many fucking fights did you have?
I only had one sanctioned fight. I was always the sparring partner.
Of like the other guys?
Yeah,
like
I was a sparring partner for a Missouri State kickboxing champion. We used to have at lunchtime. I worked for the newspaper for 7 years.
God, you've done everything. I
Yeah.
was a shoe shine boy. What'd you do for the newspaper?
I was a flyman.
What's that?
What the fuck
They
is
dig.
a flyman?
They're a press. They're like a printer's assistant.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, they dig the papers out of the press. It's a web press. That's why
Okay.
they call it flyman. And you get a mop and you mop the floor and you hand out plates. The aluminum plates. Back in the
So
day,
it's for
my
the
dad was
literal
a
printing
flyman.
press.
Them plates weighed 65 pounds.
Yeah. We talked about this. Yeah, was your dad fucking Gutenberg? Did he invent the printing press?
No, he kind of looked like George the Animal Steele. In fact, somebody came to our house and asked for his autograph. They thought he was George the Animal
He really
Steele.
looked like George with the bald head.
Oh
and the
yeah, he's a
goddamn-
big old dude.
Did he have the hair all over him and shit?
Yeah. I mean, he looked like George the Animal Steele. His hair kind of grew out like Tony Soprano a little. Cross between Tony Soprano and George the Animal
It's
Steele.
hilarious. Your dad looked like a wrestler famous for eating turnbuckles at WWF shows.
Yeah, the plumber came to his house. Thought it was him. "Ain't you on the wrestling at Chase? Can I have your autograph?"
This is back when it was big in St. Louis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So the printing press deal, what year was this that you were fucking giving him these letters and shit? 60s, 70s?
80s,
80s, okay.
90s, early 90s.
80s, I'm like 60s, 2000s.
Probably late 80s. Late
Still
80s,
though,
early
I
90s.
swear, dude, I mean, because I've seen the printing presses and shit. I didn't realize that, I mean, it was that involved.
Oh yeah, yeah. My dad, he worked there 45 years. He was leaving out of there one night, and some guy tried to pull a knife on him. He pulled up a manhole cover and threw it at the guy like a frisbee.
Like a video game.
You get hit with a manhole cover, you're gonna shit your pants.
He literally picked up a manhole
picked up
cover.
a manhole cover and threw it like a frisbee.
Did you ever see him do something like that?
Oh yeah, we had some kind of issue with the power company and these executives.
All these
it was
white
when they were
trash
building
problems.
the house. It's when they were building the house, and one of these bigwigs from the electric company. This guy's like 6'8", ex-basketball looking jock. Basically called my mom a bitch to his face.
Ooh.
He did a Superman punch on this motherfucker and knocked him out with one punch.
Did you see it?
Oh yeah.
So you come from a fucking long
Oh,
line
he
of
went.
warriors.
Yeah, one time my Uncle Terry was moving out of Washington Park, and they were arguing how to get the dryer up the steps. Dad just picked up this big, heavy gas dryer and carried it up the steps by himself.
How big was he? How tall was he?
About 5'11".
5 foot.
5'11".
5'11".
300 pounds.
God, was it mostly muscle?
It's
He had
respectable.
arms like a Russian weightlifter. He had arms big as my legs.
God damn. How
All right,
long,
we get done with this podcast. I had to pull a picture of him up.
when did he die?
2003.
Okay, so he lived a good amount then.
He's about 75. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
So
deep run,
yeah, deep romance. So he was a big ass motherfucker picking up.
Yeah, he had to.
manholes,
Well, he's helped my uncle move out of Washington Park, and these carload of guys come. Hey, fatso! Hey, you fat pussy! Look at the big fat asshole.
What is
And
it, Don Rickles?
he hid behind the van with a crowbar, and they go, "Hey, where's Fatty at?" He dove through the window with a crowbar and went wham, wham, knocked every fucking one of them out.
God damn it, bro.
I did the same thing.
What do you mean you did the same thing?
I took out a whole carload of guys one time.
Now you're just making shit up.
No.
Now you're just
They're a
telling me
bunch of
Charles
pussies,
Bronson
you know.
movies.
There's Charlie all around me.
Yeah.
I was like a carload of Maxim Luperells. It wasn't. No.
How? Okay, so how'd this happen? You took out a whole car full of people.
My friend Steve, I'm shocked he never turned out gay, but he had he missed a
Is he
good
dead
chance.
now?
There's still time.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he might have, but I know he got married and had kids. But he had a crush on this girl named Prudy, and
Prudy.
What an
Prudy.
awful fucking name. Jesus.
she was kind of nerdy hot though.
Yeah. But prude.
I think his brother
Prudy.
fucked her just to spite him.
Oh my God.
Steve was at work. He dated a preacher's daughter, and that's who he lost his virginity to.
I'm sorry, there's too many white trash characters here. So
Well, Steve, he
was
lo-
with Prudy.
Yeah,
But previous to
but he
this,
lost
Steve-
his virginity to a preacher's daughter.
Oh God.
That was not Prudy.
It wasn't Prudy, but his Mike comes home. Steve's crying on his mom's lap. That bad girl, she put my weenie in her mouth. Her mom's reading Bible verses over it.
You're shitting me.
I am not
How
shitting.
old was
How
he
old
when he
was
did
this?
that? He was
He sounds
32
like he's
years
4.
old.
He's at least 19, 20.
He was
okay.
19 or 20 crying
Yeah.
to his mom.
Crying
saying
to his
this-
mom that the gal raped him.
Wow. So this gentleman, Steve, after this.
Well,
little-
anyhow, back up. Me and him are going to see Prudy because her mom and dad went all out for Halloween. He dressed like Dracula and mom dressed like witch. Well, guess what? Fucking Prudy ain't there, and we get stuck talking to Mr. and Mrs. Brinkendorf. And Steve,
Brinkendorf.
What are these fucking names?
These
Jesus
are all 80s
Christ.
sitcoms.
It's
oh,
Troy.
Prudy
It's
Brinkemore.
Troy.
They had
and-
an alien that lived with them that ate cats.
Yeah. Well, anywho, they
You
were
talking to
just
the
out there
parents?
giving out candy and stuff, and Steve's like, "Oh, geez, this tea you made, Mrs. Brinkendorf, is just super. It's just stupendous." I'm sitting there bored out of my mind, going, "Let's get the fuck out of here and go do something creative." And here comes this kid named Hoppus walking down the street.
Hoppus. Now there's a Hoppus.
I think his name was Tim or Tom Hoppus or something.
Okay, at least it's the last name.
All right.
He comes walking
one
down.
leg.
He comes walking down the street, and he's kind of real nervous, like he's just trying to go through drug customs. You know,
Yeah.
got a pound of hash shoved up his ass.
Looks
in turkey.
suspicious, yeah.
He's got this shifty eyes. Turns and wheels and
Asian
throws
guy.
a rotten egg and hits me in my brand new Letterman's jacket.
Oh no! So you're
And
at
I got my ass kicked wrestling to earn them
Okay,
letters.
so this was in high school. This was
high
when you were in
school.
high
this
school.
high
Okay.
school. This is when you're hanging out with Prudy's parents.
Yeah,
on that
I'm like a
Halloween.
senior in high school. I think Steve was probably a freshman or sophomore.
Were you going over there trying to bang Prudy, or were you just trying?
I would
to...
have banged one of her friends. I
Sure,
wouldn't have
okay.
mind banging Prudy.
But as you're walking out, Hoppus throws a goddamn rotten egg at you.
Yeah.
And what'd you do? Did you go open up a can?
I was
of whoop
just
ass on
stunned.
Hoppus?
I was just stunned. I couldn't believe that slimy little bastard had the balls.
You do this to me?
And I was just like, I couldn't even comprehend. And by the time I got up to start chasing him, he ran down the street and hopped in a car and took off. And they went back into this neighborhood. And I'm walking up and down the street. I'm going to karate kick him. I'm going to do a Chuck Norris through the window. Here comes my friend Danny and a bunch of guys in a truck. And they go, look at Joe. He looks pissed. I'm walking like the Incredible Hulk down the street. Like I'm going to kill somebody. I go,
Yeah.
hey, here's Joe. He looks pissed. Let's see what's happening.
He smells like rotten eggs.
What's this fucking eggs all over you? And I go, this motherfucker Hoppus threw a fucking... Well, them fuckers, I seen them go back in that subdivision. There's one way in, one way in, one way out. We'll just wait for them. So they waited at the exit, and all of a sudden
It's
this
goddamn 300.
guy named Spivey was driving, and he stops at the stop sign. Danny cuts him off. I run over, start beating on the window, and Hoppus goes, no, I didn't know it was you. I didn't know it was you. And I'm beating on, open the window, motherfucker. Well, Spivey opens the window and goes, dude, this is my mom's car. She's going to get mad at you if you break her window. I dove through the window. I grabbed Hoppus by the neck, started punching the shit out of him. I'm elbowing Spivey in the head.
God damn.
I'm going boom, boom, boom. Punched another guy in the back seat. And the guy he ended up becoming the eye doctor in Troy. He goes, you have a lot of balls jumping into a car full of guys. I had my hands around his neck when four of my friends pulled me off. Cops are coming, Joe. Cops are coming. Calm down.
And this was a different time, so I'm assuming that you did not get arrested.
I did not get arrested. I'd have probably been in jail for that now.
And what happened? I mean, were you cool with Hoppus
Well,
afterwards?
I was pissed.
No.
And I went to
No.
school.
You.
I went to school the next day. My cousin and my friend Danny cornered Hoppus. They go, Lancey's going to fucking kill you, man. He's going to wait till you get off the bus tonight. He is going to break every bone in your fucking body. I'd get a funeral arrangements if I were you. And
No.
they started feeding his head full of shit that I was going to kill him. The motherfucker left school, took a cab, left school early, went home, looked my mother's name up in the phone book, and called and begged for his life. I got home. I didn't know any of this shit. I get home, and Mom goes, that nice boy said he would clean your jacket for you at the dry cleaners, no charge.
So this was like a couple days after you.
It was like the next day after.
But you had already gotten your licks in on him
I got
in the
my
car,
licks in
so
on
you
him.
were done with it.
I was done with it. I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was still pissed, but my cousin and my best friend, they started just egging this guy on.
Did you make him clean your jacket?
Oh, yeah. He paid for it. Goddamn right he paid for
I
it.
love it. I love it.
Well, Danny was a shit starter for me. He'd get me in trouble. We was in math class one time, and there's this guy named Jeff Lesby. Who was
No, not Lesby.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Lesby Dykstra. Lesby Dykstra's in here.
Oh, Jenny Dykeman.
Big goofy kid from Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Real annoying. Real antsy fucker. Kept fucking with my hat. I go to Danny.
Hasn't
Son
the
of a
word
bitch.
gotten out yet? Hasn't the
I go to
word gotten
Danny.
out? You
I
don't
go,
fuck with
that
Joe.
motherfucker fucks with my hat one more time. I am going to kill him. Danny walks up to him and goes, go grab Joe's hat and throw it to me.
Oh, that's amazing.
I did a 1-2 shot. He went flying underneath the teacher's desk. Teacher looks at me and goes, what'd you hit him for? I go, that motherfucker pissed me off. He goes, well, okay, sit back down. The teacher didn't like him, let me off. I didn't even get in trouble for it.
What year was this?
1979.
Yeah, that story checks out. That's what Billy Corgan
Maybe
was singing
77.
about.
Might
Yeah.
be 77.
Do you have a reaction outside of blind rage, or is it, this is fine, or I'm going to murder you?
So
I had my fair share of fights. This one guy was a junior, and he kind of tried to stick me with the name Igor.
Because of your hunchback.
Yeah, he kept calling me. He went, go, Igor. And I
God
go,
damn.
that motherfucker calls me. It's bad enough you're taking. You start a freshman, you're taking shit from the
Yeah, of course.
from
Upperclassmen.
the senior
Yeah.
upperclassmen. Our high school, a bunch of country fed assholes.
Sure.
You'd be walking down this. They go, "Hey, watch your step," and they'd uppercut you.
God damn it.
Why did you go to school in the 40s?
They'd say,
Like,
hey, look at
Jesus
this, and they'd
Christ.
stab you. God
Or they
damn.
get one guy and they give him the golden swirl where they pick him up, and dunk him head first in a toilet full of piss. They
It's a
another
classic. That is a classic.
I've heard of a swirl or swirly. I've never heard of a golden swirl.
They took another guy and they made him pick corn off the locker room floor with his butt cheeks.
Oh, God.
They were some mean motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's like in
It's bad enough
Clerks
you're
2.
taking shit from the seniors, and then I got to take shit from this fucking junior.
Yeah.
And I'm coming from class. He kept trying to start calling me Igor. Thought he was going to stick a nickname on me.
Well, old blind rage Joe Lancey ain't going to have
Yeah.
that.
That's the hardest I've ever hit a human
Oh, my
being in
God.
my life. I mean, he went flying backwards about 10 feet and rolled completely over a couple times.
Like it was a John Woo movie.
He gets up and his face was completely swollen, and his ugly Cro-Magnon girlfriend hugs him.
His
"Oh, Bert."
ugly Cro-Magnon girlfriend.
I'm not kidding you. This bitch looked like something from Quest of Fire.
How many fights have you been in, Joe?
I lost count.
How many you lost?
None.
None. Not one fight. You never
None.
got up against one motherfucker.
I
like
went up
you should be
against
a vigilante.
Bonehead, who was probably the guy named Bonehead, who was the toughest guy in school, and I fought him to a draw. I think it was both got our licks in.
When was this? How old were you then?
Probably 8th grade.
8th grade. Okay. Why did you guys get into a fight? What happened?
I don't know. He did something pissed me off, and I swung at him.
He did something pissed me off. See, but that's the difference. I've gotten in like 3 fights in my entire life. I could tell you the story of every one of them, what happened before, during, after. You've gotten in so many fights. You're like, I don't fucking know. Who cares? Whatever.
I mean,
yeah,
I
how
was
fast
a
you swinging on people?
I was a peaceful fat kid who liked monster movies.
It does not
I
sound
like
like
comic
you were
books
peaceful.
and monster movies, and
Me
everybody
too.
thought I had a big target on my pants. I shit my pants in 5th grade. They started calling me Pampers, and I thought, that's it. That is it.
Bro. I thought that's it. So when you say you thought that's it, what do you mean? At that point, you were just going to fight people?
I went and found Dad's old weight set, started lifting weights.
Oh,
and
really?
And then I asked for a heavy bag.
Mm-hmm.
I was about going into high school. I asked for a heavy bag.
And
for
that's
my
what
birthday.
started the boxing thing for you.
Yeah.
So that got you involved in boxing, being called old
Pampers, 'cause
fucking
you shit your-
Lancey.
I just started, I learned that, you'd ball up. Well, in 8th grade, that's when I started just balling up my fists and punching people in the face.
Healthy.
Bonehead had
That's how you
a
do
little
it,
had a little
yeah.
brother, and he tried to start shit with me. Picked up a soccer ball and threw it in my bounced one off my face.
Jesus Christ.
I let him have with a 1-2 punch, knocked him the fuck out.
So all this shit that happened to you, because I got bullied some too, but because I was the kid who was a nerd, academic team, comic books and all that shit. But you sound like,
And he's gay.
and I'm very gay, right? So, but like
Before it was cool.
Did you get bullied more than other people in your class,
I think
or
so.
did everybody? Get
I was a
fucking
stranger too. I wasn't originally from Troy, and it was very cliquish that you were either a freak, a farmer, or jock or whatever.
bullied? Right. So you had other freak friends.
I was just kind of my nerdy self,
What's your favorite monster movie?
Probably Frankenstein.
It's great,
It's
isn't
a good
it?
one.
Yeah, I just watched The Invisible Man again a couple months ago. I think it's my favorite one.
King Kong, I'd say King Kong's my favorite.
That's fucking
The
killer.
original.
Yeah. So that made you want to be a boxer. Now you started boxing when you were in high school?
Yeah, we used to have just basement fights. Just we just
Oh my god.
We used to have basement fights. You had Fight
Like
Club.
a goddamn
yeah,
fight
we had
club.
Fight Club in the basement. We get a bunch of guys around just wail on each other.
See, the first 2 rules were the same. God, a bunch of guys wailing on each other.
And we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We didn't have no style. It was just windmill, just put your head down and start throwing.
Was this
No finesse whatsoever.
Was this year of fighting? Did you all have your fists out?
No, I just put your head down, wail like this.
No, you'd make your hand sticky, then you dip it in some broken glass. Beginning of Rambo 3.
8th grade, man, it was rough. We used to have these soccer matches. It ended up being the whole 8th grade against the whole 7th grade.
Yeah.
And it was just chaos. And there were no rules. Somebody be going for the ball, and I took this one guy and grabbed him by the hair and threw him face first into the dirt. Well, his friend Ernie took an exception to that, and we all got in a big dog pile for the ball. And Ernie stands up and goes, "You ever come at me again, motherfucker, I'm going to break your fist off and shove it up your ass." I thought, now or never. I jumped on him, started beating the living fuck out of him.
God damn.
And I look up, and there's Mr. Piper. He was the
Rowdy
teacher. He comes running on crutches. He had a broken leg. Boy, did I get
Did you break it?
No, I
Did you
didn't
break his leg, Joe?
I didn't break. No, I never had a teacher.
It goes against the code.
I did throw chalk at a teacher one time, but that was accidental.
How was that accidental?
Well, there's this guy named David Fink who had these big buck silver teeth.
David Fink. David Fink with the silver teeth.
And he'd stutter too. He was a modern art masterpiece.
You came up in a Harry Crumb cartoon. You know that?
He didn't know Nazis wasn't cool, and he'd wear Nazi paraphernalia to school.
How do you not
He's
know
a goddamn edgelord.
He just liked the pageantry of it. He wasn't into the what.
He liked the pageantry of it.
Yeah, they had. They did
Wasn't
understand.
he didn't like the racial shit.
They were great at marketing.
They understood. The Nazis understood branding,
logos,
and,
the eagles, all
yeah,
that cool shit.
and
That was
That's what
quality.
he liked. He liked.
Right.
He
They
had
did have that famous designer design all
Could
this
you
shit.
imagine wearing a German
Yeah.
SS hat to school?
No, I can't.
Nowadays?
It
Well, I mean-
stands for super sport.
But I mean, wearing it to. But here's the thing: you say wearing it nowadays, but again, this was what, the 70s.
Well, back in the 70s.
It's just
hell,
30 years after World War II.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
think
could
it'd be
take a
more-
shotgun to school and hang it in their truck
That's different
window.
than having Nazi paraphernalia.
I do remember a kid at our school had a shotgun in his truck, and that was a big fucking deal. But
We routinely had guns in trucks.
Yeah, did you have those?
Yeah, like
But nobody
everybody.
cared?
No, not at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Who gives a shit?
It's in the middle of fucking cornfields around a bunch of
Yeah,
fucking
that's the way we
farmer
were.
kids.
Y'all, when I grew up out there, I had corn for friends.
Yeah.
And you were fighting people afterward, though.
Yeah.
Did you go to college?
Yeah.
Where
I
at?
didn't go till I was older.
So
I
what?
went to SIUE.
What
Okay.
happened in between 18 and whenever you went to college? You was fighting?
Yeah, it
No,
sounded like
I
you
got
just
it,
fought your way around the country.
No, I just, what did I do? Oh, I worked for a small printing company. Then I got hired on at the Post.
Mm-hmm.
Had a couple kids in the meantime.
Oh, you were a mailman?
Post-Dispatch newspaper.
You know what? That's how a man tells a story right there. He spends 45 minutes talking about all of his fights and then says, I had a couple kids.
And then yada yada's over.
I had a kid when I was 18. I started early. I got a 40-year-old.
I was going to say, didn't you have
damn.
one that got put up for adoption or... Because they found you later in life.
Yeah, she
correct?
found me on my comedies page of all
You're
things.
shitting me.
I'm not shitting you.
So this is the one that you had when you were 18?
yes.
And then did you knock up some girl that you
yeah,
didn't know?
high school sweetheart. Yeah.
High school, and then
her
what
parents absolutely hated me.
But you put it up for adoption, was that right?
It wasn't my idea. I got
No.
forced. I got set down in a chair and said, "You got two choices: sign the kid over, you'll never see it again."
By who? Who told you this? Her parents?
Her parents.
Did you fight him?
I thought my dad was going to throw him out the window. I honestly did.
What's your dad?
I'm
because-
surprised you didn't.
Yeah, but but your dad. I mean, your parents had to be upset. They were.
Oh yeah, I mean, he did turn up dead. I don't know what
Did you fucking kill a guy, Joe?
Wait,
I
hold
didn't
up.
do it. Dad might have.
The father,
about the-
the father of the mother of your first child turned up dead. How did he turn up
Suicide.
dead? Wait, hold on. You looked. You did the eyebrow thing to me when I said that.
Oh,
He
I,
went,
didn't, I had
"Mhm."
nothing to do with it. I mean, I might
Joe, I
have
don't-
laughed about it like Rush Limbaugh when he died. You know,
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
need
it was
these
a
I was
videos.
too sad about it.
I don't need these
Suicide.
videos being used in a murder case, Joe.
He shot himself in the back of the head. It was suicide.
Yeah, 2 bullets in the back of a head.
Not suspicious at all.
So he sits you down. He tells you that you and I mean, like, that had to be fucking heartbreaking for you.
Oh, it was. It fucking crushed me.
Because now, when did
So
you
this
find
is at
this out?
18.
9 months into the pregnancy, when did you find this out that he told you this?
Oh, it was, I don't know. I got mad. We kind of broke up, and then I listened to my cousin's wife, and that was some bad advice I got from her. Just fuck her. Don't give her nothing. Just fuck her. She wants to give the baby up. Fuck her. And
You're a kid. You're 18.
I'm 18. I don't fucking
You don't know
I'm
shit.
stupid.
Absolutely.
I didn't have no fucking head on my shoulder. No maturity whatsoever.
Yeah, men are stupid till they're 45.
Yeah.
At least.
All I knew was punching.
Yeah, so you gave up the kid, and then you never saw it after it was born?
I never saw it.
And ever. Even when
She
it
was
born?
35.
And then she hit you up. How
Yeah.
did she know? Like, how did she figure it out?
She found the mom, and the mom gave her my information, and she found Joe the animal. It's like
Joe,
It's like finding out Shemp Howard is your father.
Right, right. Because, she's got to be like, oh, what is he? Some, God, I don't know, fucking butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker, what the fuck ever. And then you got a goddamn gimmick and all this shit. So what happened? She hit you up? Were you happy?
We've been in contact about 5 years now.
Do you have a relationship with her?
Yeah, we talk.
cool.
I just text her. I text her and call her all the time.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. That's cool.
It's good that we've been able to make that connection.
And you told her that story, obviously, but what happened?
Oh, I got a better story about the mom.
Please.
The mom. Probably
Did you
seen
kill her
after
too?
we had the breakup, and she gave the baby up.
Yeah.
And I was at St. Jacob homecoming. She boxed my ears in like I was late on doing the dishes.
This is pre-baby?
This is post-baby.
Okay, this is post-baby.
She seen me and slapped my slap. That's probably the only fight I ever lost.
Why the fuck was she pissed at you?
Well, I guess she
Well,
thought I
didn't you
left
end
her.
after you ended after she gave it up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she.
How dare
'cause
you end that relationship because she
Because I showed
took
up
your
in
child?
I showed up in St. Jacob. You got a lot of fucking balls coming here. Whop whop, backhanding me. Okay, I just sucked it up. And okay, you win. Fuck off. I walked off, slunked off, and I didn't see her again for 13 years. No,
Wow.
longer than that. Hell, longer than that. Probably it was. My daughter, Rachel, was in 8th grade. I don't know how old I was. I was probably close to my 40s by then.
Yeah.
And
And when you say your daughter Rachel, this is
my younger daughter.
your second child.
My second.
Your second biological.
I got 3
child.
altogether.
Yeah, so you have the first one that you gave up, and then you have the
I have
two.
2 others.
Right. Okay.
I'm at the middle school for going on a field trip. I look down the hallway. Who do I see but my ex-high school sweetheart?
Wow.
And I thought,
Weird.
oh boy, I'm going to get my face slapped off in front of a bunch of middle schoolers. I'm going to be the talk of the freaking town.
I thought you were going to say, "Oh boy, I'm going to get my revenge here in this middle school. It's time, bitch."
No, I was just
Luckily,
worried
I
about
have my
I didn't want to
blade.
feel like getting my ass beat in front of a bunch of grade schoolers,
No.
Oh shit! I kept away from her the whole day. They went on. It was a tour of Busch Stadium, the Bowling Hall of Fame. They went on the Bowling Hall of Fame. I went on Busch Stadium. Then we reversed, and we did the other. And then we went out to Troy, and they let the kids go nuts, and they was going to have a pizza party for them out there. And she was on one side of the field, I was on the other. Didn't make eye contact with her. I thought, good. Day's almost over with, and I'm going to go find Rachel, sit down, and have some pizza. Who is Rachel sitting next to? But my ex-girlfriend Laura and her new daughter, who Rachel
Her
and
new daughter.
they're best friends.
Wait.
So your 2 exes hooked up and became friends?
No, my daughter
I see
became
what you're
friends
saying.
with my ex.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Wait, so
Ex's daughter.
I'm sorry. So you're saying that your first daughter became friends with
No. My
your second daughter?
my second daughter became friends with her second daughter,
Oh my God, that's
and they were all
unbelievable.
sitting together. I just thought Rod Serling was going to come out. Small town, Southern Illinois. Joe Animal Lancey steps into the twilight zone.
So what happened then? I mean, did you get into a fucking?
I
Did you
told
punch him?
Rachel. I told Rachel. I went home and said, "Hey, you got a sister." I mean, it was always hard for me to say, and I just said, "I'm coughing this secret up. I ain't living with this on my back anymore."
Wow. That's not. Wait. So and again, I've asked this question before, but there were so many players.
Yeah, this shit
in
is
this
hard to
scenario.
follow.
So you're saying that your daughter, both of your daughters, wound up being friends with each other, not knowing they were sisters?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No.
Is that what you thought too?
No.
Okay, no, I'm sorry.
No, it's her second. It's Laura's second daughter.
I got you. Okay, I'm sorry. There's so much. There's so much in this white trash web. I fucking love it. What was the wildest fight that you ever got in the ring? Then, did you ever have the shit knocked out of you? The
Never
piss
had the
knocked
shit
out of you?
knocked out of me.
Have you ever your nose broken?
I've had my teeth loosened.
Loosened, like Ronda Rousey couldn't eat an apple.
That sounds like a real way to church it up.
I think I'm having issues now with I might have to have a root canal. I know I had these teeth knocked loose at one point.
Ooh.
Pussy eating accident.
Yeah, slapped her legs
I
together.
was too good at it.
Yeah. What made you give it up?
Just age.
How old were you when you stopped boxing?
Probably whenever the post folded. I lost contact with my sparring partners.
Whenever the Post folded.
Well, it didn't fold. I mean, the
Washington
jobs,
Post?
The jobs, no, the St. Louis Post.
Oh,
is back.
okay, yeah.
The job's still there. I'm just not doing it. I mean, it was like 175 pressmen, 75 flymen, 25 apprentices. I think the whole shooting match is 28 people now. There's only 2 presses run on a Saturday night. There used to be 6 presses.
Yeah.
There used to be 6 presses, and they run them in the morning, Friday night. Now they do everything on Saturday night, and they're done.
Yeah, you want to talk about how, small businesses or whatever businesses and then complete local economies have been affected by newspapers. They used to employ a shit ton of people.
Good wages, too.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, back in the 80s, that was $105 a day. That was a lot of money.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah,
man.
shit.
Fuck yeah. That's what
I
you were making?
I started out when I worked minimum wage, like $3 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
What did you wind up making a year when you were working for the newspaper before they fucking folded?
Probably about 40,000.
What year was this?
80s.
Okay, that's
Late
good.
80s.
So that's good money. I mean, that's it's not fucking rock star money, but that's good. That's more than I made fucking last year. You know what I'm saying? That's fucking good though. That's what a lot of people don't realize. Because I went to college for journalism, and then you read about it and shit. Is that these fucking little these newspapers employed so many fucking
Well, they had
people.
even paper handlers, mailers, and that all the paper handlers all became robots. And then it started with the plate makers. They used to have lead type, and when they went to aluminum, that cut out a bunch of plate makers.
Sure.
And it's nobody there, and the paper's hardly anything anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's also not like the beacon of media like it used to be.
No, they fired all the writers and stuff.
It's all wire stuff. Like all the stories is wire stuff.
Yeah, it's no beat writers anymore. They got all the columnists.
See, and again, you go, okay, well, that's what's been replaced by other shit, but no, it really hasn't in terms of local news coverage, because you're gonna have
It's all handed to people now. There's nobody out there digging for news like there was in the old days.
You're right.
It's all okay. We're gonna have a news conference here. This is what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that becomes the story.
Yeah.
Like the news.
It's all PR people
Yes.
It's PR people feeding the news stories.
The press releases become the stories.
Yeah. It's no going up. Hey, let's dig up dirt on Governor Blagojevich.
Sure, yeah, and that shit is important.
Yeah, I think it's definitely there's a disconnect between news and it's kind of just all handed to people now. Ain't nobody out digging for it.
And there's a huge disconnect in printed media and local news media too. It's night and day.
See, in them days you'd start the runoff at the night. You get there about 8:45. You set the press up. You'd have a run of about 15 to 30,000 papers.
Mm-hmm.
Depends if the Cardinals were in town. If they were in town, then you'd only have a shorter run of papers.
Why
And
is
those
that?
were the ones that would go out to the far edges, like Litchfield and Mount Vernon and places like that, or Columbia. They'd have a short run at the beginning of the night. And then whenever the final baseball scores and all this stuff and late breaking news would come in after 10:30 or 11 o'clock, I think it was. After 11 o'clock, then you'd put new plates on and rerun the paper again.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you get in there and you get done with your initial run, you could have an hour and a half before you went back to work.
Okay.
So you get like an hour and a half lunch. Most of them guys went over to the tavern and drank their lunch.
I'm sure they did.
Oh, them guys were some
goddamn
party
Germans,
fucking
yeah.
animals over there. I know. First time I walked in, there's this guy named Rod and passed out, sleeping on a pile of paper, and it caught fire.
Why'd it catch fire?
He was smoking. He looked like a Viking funeral.
Oh,
He's laying
my
there. He's
God.
laying there sleeping, and there's flames all shooting up.
Flames shooting up.
Yeah, he's lucky the damn sprinkler system didn't go off.
So you have a couple of kids, you get into the fight, and you retire from the boxing. How long you been doing comedy?
20. I guess this is my 26th year.
Jesus
So
Christ.
what year did you start?
95. I did a charter comedy. I did a charter talent show.
The fuck is a charter talent show?
Charter cable service.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
They had a talent show, like it was like a public access cable show.
Yeah.
I get there and they had kids doing, kids juggling and stuff. Like I had to cut half my jokes out. I just totally bombed. Ate it. It was a year before I went back on stage.
First time
again.
you went.
That was the first time. So
Right.
probably the fall of '96, I went on stage at Comedy Etc. I did kicked ass.
Where's that at?
Fairview used to be in Fairview Heights.
Okay.
And I kicked ass. Second time I go up there, I'm being dirty. Nobody's
You?
laughing. And
Hold
and
on.
all of a sudden I think, I need to be dirtier. I need to say
I know what the
cocksucker.
problem is
That's
here.
hilarious.
I know why they're not laughing. I have not said fuck or cocksucker near enough. Come to find out, it's a ladies' church group in the audience. This lady
Hilarious.
came up from Branson to do the open mic, and she brought all her friends from.
Oh my
Hilarious.
God.
And they were just.
And this is the second time that you went.
That was
up.
my second time. I mean, I felt awful. I couldn't believe it. And then I found that out.
Did you go routinely after that, or did it take?
Oh
you
yeah,
some time?
and then kids and my parents were sick and stuff. That got in the way. Then I start working.
Yeah,
on-
those bastards. Those sick fucks got in the way.
Well, they were raced to see who died first.
So why'd you get into comedy? So you were
I always
like,
wanted to do it.
40, like 40-ish then?
Yeah, I was probably probably late 30s.
Okay.
I still had hair.
Shit.
I did an open mic with Kathleen Madigan and Cedric the Entertainer.
Holy fuck! When was this? Where was this?
Funny Bone back in
So
96.
96. Kathleen Madigan's just starting about
Yeah,
that time.
Yeah.
Cedric. I thought he had been around by that point.
He was kind of he'd have his own night there.
Was he from St. Louis?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
I didn't know that.
It was right before he
Wow.
took off to the Kings of Comedy.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
he
'cause
took.
did that pretty
He'd
fast.
have his own. He had his own night there.
I didn't know that. See, I thought the Cedric had
It'd
been
be
around
like
for a while.
It'd be like Wednesday night was Cedric the Entertainer night.
Yeah, because Kings of Comedy was like 99, so he must have
It was right before he took off.
Wow,
I
that's
think
crazy.
he was like 5 years into comedy when he did that.
I know Jim. You know Jim the Dad, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know Jim the Dad, St. Louis guy, black dude.
No, old dude.
He's old white guy.
Oh,
He
okay.
painted all this shit at Donnie's.
He's painted all them posters at Donnie's.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
good.
he's worked with like the Scar Brothers,
That's cool.
Bill Engvald. He remembers when they started the Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
Wow.
That started in St. Louis.
Are you shitting me?
No, it was Bill Engvald, Craig Hawksley, and Foxworthy.
Yeah, because it was a
and
knockoff.
Craig Hawksley dropped off.
Why?
He got booted.
He's just a cranky old man. You see him, boy is he bitter.
I was told, yeah, he was bad from what I've heard, he was bad for the vibe of the place. And I think he was a little too heavy into the sauce as well.
What was his name? Craig Hawksley.
Craig Hawksley, he was the king of the open mic. He was like always the permanent host of the open mic, and he
In
was
St.
always
Louis?
like
The
the big.
king of the open mic.
He was
Wow.
always the
I might
host.
have something to say about that.
Whenever they did the hosting on the weekend, he'd always be the guy, one of the top hosts.
Okay, yeah.
And sometimes he'd feature or whatever. Push come to shove, they have him headline even.
Yeah, because they booted him and then they pulled Ron White in.
I legit did not realize that the Blue Collar Comedy Tour started with a guy from St. Louis and Foxworthy and Engvall.
Yeah, because Foxworthy wanted to he wanted to do the redneck equivalent of the Kings of Comedy. So they literally just took that model for a tour.
Yeah.
And like, okay, we can just have people do essentially feature sets.
Yeah.
James Johan was the one I think you were thinking of that was on the Sauce.
Okay, I think
I love
that's who it
James.
was.
James is a
Johan,
great dude.
yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
He's the first professional I ever opened for
Nice.
on the road.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. And then and then that's also why Ron White doesn't quite fit that group because they grabbed him after the fact.
Yeah, well, he kind of assimilated. I don't want to say he assimilated, like he did his set minus the blue stuff. But so I guess that was him assimilating because like his whole deal, he talks on the interviews like how he's a rock guy, like he loves AC/DC. He always considered himself like the drinker and the smoker and the partier and he did the fucking drugs and shit. And then when Foxworth came, he's like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, yeah, that's fine.
But also, he only had to do like 10 minutes.
Well, he did 20, but it was 10 minutes. I love Ron White. I do, man. I love Ron White.
Yeah, James told me a story. When he was opening for Ron White, they had to drive across Texas, and Ron White didn't say 2 words on a 13-hour trip.
Oh my God.
His only words he said was, "I'm hungry. Let's eat."
Who
Really?
said
Ron White.
No, but who was this?
James Johan.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't seem like he'd be like that, but maybe he was sober.
I think he was
Yeah.
just being surly. Just I guess you get crabby.
Crotchety old fuck.
That motherfucker's fucked around on every wife he's ever had. Fucking Ron. Well, I love Ron White because he's already. I remember like by the time he already had like I don't know 2 or 3, 4 wives. He had a special a few years ago, and the big thing was, fellas, this is what I've learned: if you don't fuck around, you can't get caught. And gets a big laugh, right? Well, on that tour, he's trying to fuck this chick who used to work radio here. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I guarantee this was not the only local radio chick that he tried to bang on
Of
his
course
tour
not.
bus.
It's gonna be like fucking what's his nuts, the snappy guy. He's gonna be
Greg Hahn.
yeah,
The snappy guy.
yeah. He's gonna.
Hey!
Snappy guy.
He's gonna
I'll
be,
fuck any bartender above a 4. Hey!
yeah, it's not just Donnie B's where he's pulling ass at the fucking.
Yeah.
He's traveling around spreading his seed.
And good for him, bro. Good for him.
That's the Bob Hope rule.
What's that?
Fuck everything that moves.
No, there's this comic. Probably back in the 50s. Bob Hope came through Peoria, and this guy had to escort him around the whole time. And he escorted, got his shoes shined for him. Then he kind of, took him if he needed to go out for breakfast, got him, cleaned his suit, whatever he had dry clean, whatever Hope needed. The guy basically bent over, kissed his ass the whole time. And he got to the end of the weekend. He goes, "Hey, Mr. Hope, can I ask you some advice for a budding comedian?" He goes, "Never fuck the waitress. Chances are the bar owner's fucking her."
Bob Hope said that.
Bob Hope said
That's
that.
great.
Hands him a $5 bill.
A $5 bill.
And he thought, "You cheap son of a bitch." And he unfolds it. Was like $100 or $500 or something.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, never fuck the waitress. That's a good. It's a good rule to live by.
Chances
in
are the
stand-up
bar
comedy.
owner's trying to fuck her too.
Yeah, because it's either, but there's that. It's either like a daughter person to the owner, or they're trying to fuck them. You want to get in with the waitresses because they'll recommend you coming back and mention your name
I know
up
Jamie
when.
Foxx, he was a dick towards a waitress out at the old Comedy Forum in St. Charles.
Oh, really?
What was the story there?
He was just a dick towards the waitress.
Bob Hope handing the dollar, like the $5. It's all wrapped up in a $5.
Wadded up like a $5 bill. Wadded up the guy. "You cheap motherfucker."
Why do you? I wonder how many times the guy got it and was like, "You son of a bitch, fuck you." And then they open it.
They just
up,
throw
and
it on the ground.
One of my favorite stories is, you probably heard this. You're big on the old school stuff too. Frank Sinatra backstage at the Tonight Show was getting his shoe shined, and he asked the kid shining his shoes. He says, "What's the biggest tip you've ever gotten?" And the kid says, "Well, $100. And Sinatra goes, here's $200. And he shines his shoes some more, and he goes, "By the way, who was the guy that gave you $100? And the guy goes, "Well, you, Mr. Sinatra." So it had to be something similar, I'm assuming.
Great. My favorite Sinatra story was Don Rickles was trying to impress his girlfriend.
I love, the story, yeah.
And,
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Old Sinatra walks in the restaurant. He goes, "Hey, I know him. I know him. Well, she gets up and goes to the bathroom and goes, hey, Frank, can you come over and act like you know me and stuff? And you really mean a lot to me. Well, the gal comes back from the bathroom, and Frank Sinatra walks over and starts talking. He goes, can't you see I'm busy on a date? Go away, Frank.
Yeah, every time. All right, yeah, it was great. I was so, I'd heard that story before, and just over the weekend, I was watching like old Tonight Show clips with my mom, and one of them was Don Rickles surprises Frank Sinatra on the Tonight Show, and Frank tells that story to Don. That show used to be like that. It was just like, oh, we're gonna have the most famous people in the world. No, here's a guy coming in. It was
there's a clip on, you'll see it on the internet. It's a famous one. There's a bunch of them old time comics like Dean Martin, George Gobel, and there was somebody else was there too, and they're all sitting on the couch. And George Gobel's telling the story. Dean Martin's flicking his cigarette at his soda the whole time.
I've seen that, yeah. And the crowd's losing their mind, yeah. Every time he flicks it, the crowd's like, and he doesn't know why they're fucking laughing.
So he's not even aware he's doing it?
Not even.
I think
like
the
a
funniest thing I
can
ever
sitting on
seen Johnny do is when Julio Iglesias was doing that All the Girls I Love with Willie Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
They all of a sudden you see a silhouette of a guy with ponytail coming off the side and think, hey, Willie Nelson's coming on. It was fucking Johnny.
I've never seen that.
And he does a dead nuts impersonation of fucking Willie Nelson. It was hilarious.
That's amazing, dude. You always hear he was the best, but you go back and watch, he really was the best, man.
Oh, I bet he could be a dick. I bet he could be.
Sure.
If he didn't like you, pissed him off. You were nobody. See Joan Rivers,
Well, the deal, the heat there was that Joan did the late night show on Fox, and after Johnny had her on a million times and had her guest host, she took that show without asking him. And most people said if she just would have asked, Johnny would have given her his blessing.
Yeah, because Joey Bishop had his own show. He had his own show too, and he was able to come on there.
Yeah.
He went up against Carson, but I guess he asked.
But they were cool. They were cool about it. Yeah. Well, and then Carson, because apparently Carson was obviously the best host ever, but he apparently like at parties was kind of a boring guy. Like they said that like once the red light came on, he was fucking hilarious and blah 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 and all this stuff, but otherwise it wasn't like that. I think Steve Martin's
kind of like, I heard he's like that too, where he's kind of standoffish and quiet.
Really?
Yeah.
He's one of the most interesting cases to me of a guy who, in the movies on SNL and his stand-up and all this stuff, he's just this wild and crazy guy and and he's just like, he's very animated. And if you see him in interviews or if you see him in a lot of the dramas he's done, he's just super fucking serious, just super fucking straight.
Yeah, he can, yeah.
What about the fact that he's a goddamn banjo wizard too? You've seen that, right?
Oh yeah, he I think he's one of them guys. He'd probably rather you talk about his banjo playing. I think Billy Bob Thornton's like that. If you talk to him about Carl or something off a sling blade, he's gonna lose it. Not talk to you, but.
Yeah. Well, have you seen the video of him doing that radio interview? It's Billy Bob and his band, and the DJ obviously brings up a movie that he's in because he's fucking Billy Bob Thornton, and he gets fucking angry. Like he refuses.
Why would you get angry about shit?
That's the thing, man. Like honest to God, like it's
like Jimmy Walker. He can't stand it if you say dynamite.
Yeah, dude. Why don't you just take solace in the fact? Not even take solace. Why don't you enjoy the fact that something that you did connected with this many fucking people?
Screech was the same way. He didn't like being called, with that Saved by the Bell, and he references the Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, you
mean that shit, man.
You mean the only reason that you're fucking here right now?
Just do like Clayton Moore. Just be the Lone Ranger. Just be the Lone Ranger the day you die.
Is that what he did? He owned it?
He has basically owned it. It's like Weissmuller. I think he still thought he was Tarzan in the old folks' home. There's a story, the guy that was, he was Rita's, what's her name off of Cheers? It was her husband in real life, and he was on Cheers too.
Danny DeVito?
No. Rita Pearl.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. No, I know.
I can't think of the guy's name.
Yeah. Well, he was her husband on the show.
Yeah. And he was a DJ for some little.
He talked shit about her.
Some little fucking Podump, North Carolina radio station. And they had the Lone Ranger appear at a trailer sales place.
Yeah.
Where they were selling house trailers, and he was going there doing the Lone Ranger shtick, signing autographs and stuff for promo. And they're they're all getting high. Him and his buddy are getting high as shit. They're high as balls on the giraffe. And they look up, and everybody took off. And Lone Ranger's kind of standing there waiting for a cab. And they go, "Hey, Mr. Moore, you want us to take you up to the airport?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure, that'll be fine." Well, they're going along, driving down the road, and some guy bumps into them. They chase the guy down, and they pull over, and they get out of the car. And go, "Hey, motherfucker, you ran into our car." And the guy goes, "Screw you, you greasy hippie. Go ahead, call the cops. Who they going to believe, two greasy hippies or me? They're going to think you did it. So piss off." And all of a sudden, the Lone Ranger gets out of the back seat and goes, "You best calm down, citizen." And this guy flips his shit.
My God, it's the Lone Ranger. I respect guys like that who can embrace this thing that touched so many people. I can respect those guys far more than the people who are like, "Don't talk about it. Don't mention it. Don't do that shit."
Well, there's a story, there's a rumor that Reeves, the guy that played the first Superman, shot himself.
Yeah.
Or they used but they come to think it might have been murder.
Yeah, there was a whole movie about that.
Yeah, he supposedly, when he went on, what was that? Here to
Reeves?
Eternity?
No. This is like the 1950s
George Reeves.
TV
Oh, it just
show.
happens to be
It
a
was
different
George
Reeves.
was
There's
the
a
fir-
Superman curse, yeah.
George Reeves was the first Superman.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Actually,
that.
Kirk Allen was the first Superman.
Weren't there two Supermen in
There was Kirk Allen, then there was George Reeves.
on the show? On the show, right? There were two of them, and one of them left, and then another guy came in. You're right, but they both died, didn't they? Like, didn't they have early?
I don't know
deaths?
whatever happened to Kirk Allen. I don't know. He was like in the. They had like serials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you're talking about
And
that one. Okay.
Yeah. And then they had the TV show. That's when
Right.
they brought George Reeves. I don't know whatever happened to that dude.
Yeah, well, I remember my mom told me that he lost his mind and jumped out of a window thinking he could fly. And I
No,
never-
I think
Sounds like
he was
PCP.
banging one of the executives' girlfriends.
Uh-huh.
And I think they had him killed.
Really?
But they said he was despondent because he was like in From Here to Eternity, which is a very serious movie.
Yeah.
And he comes walking on, seeing everybody, it's Superman. Ha ha! Everybody starts laughing.
Yeah. I've got to check that. I got to check that story out. That's really fascinating, though,
Yeah, it is.
because I think it's a Ben Affleck movie. I think he plays George Reeves.
Do you know there are Batman movies from the 40s?
I've seen them. Well, there's serials.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Captain America too.
I've read the comics. I've never seen the actual.
There's a
serials.
Captain America from the 40s. He
That
don't
is
even have a shield. He has a
Gotta
gun.
be awful.
He
He
has
has
a
a
gun?
gun.
It's extreme. It is
That is
extremely racist.
I'm sure
Hell
it is.
yeah.
Well,
I mean, they
dude-
got the Japanese soldiers with the big buck teeth.
Oh,
And
of course.
yeah.
Yeah, well, the old Captain Americas in the 40s during World War II literally had like the Germans on the cover of the comics, like shoving Jews into a furnace, like they were like sliding down this thing into a furnace.
It's pretty fucking hardcore for a
Wait.
children's comic book.
Well, it was for everybody.
Well, we
man.
had to make sure they knew they were the villains.
Yeah, you're talking about committing to the role. I'll tell you another guy who did that was speaking of Batman was 60s Batman, Adam West.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of disowned that shit.
Well, you say he did, but for a long time he was Batman. I mean, into the 70s, he appeared on Memphis Wrestling, with Jerry Lawler, and he's fucking loaded out of his mind, dressed as Batman. And he's fucking riffing. It's clear that he's just out of his mind. And he goes, "Whoa, all of the people here in Memphis are fine citizens. They use their left and right turn indicators." And that became like a famous wrestling line, as they use their turn indicators. Like, he's fucked up.
Dude, he had the longest run of being Batman, now that I think about it. From mid-60s to 90 before there was a new Batman.
Yeah, but it wasn't like they were putting shit out with him that whole time.
I know, but I'm still like,
But as Batman, like as if you think of a
yeah.
Batman, yeah, you're probably right about that.
'Cause he had a good fucking
He might have even
20
voiced the
years.
cartoons. I know there were some Batman cartoons
Here-
in that time.
He voiced a couple of them, I believe.
Yeah, and they actually did a few before he died. Like they did like Batman 67 or whatever cartoons with him and Burt Ward doing the voices, which is
I think
pretty
Burt
cool.
Ward might have did porn or something at one point.
I've heard that rumor.
I think I heard that too.
I don't know if that was true.
I heard he can be a jerk too.
I've heard that too. Why would you be a dick if you're Robin?
Yeah.
You can't be a dick if you're Robin.
This is your gay ass Robin. This sucks.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Only superhero that's more gay than Robin is Aqualad. He has shit stains in front of his tucked pants.
Aqualad was Aquaman's sidekick or something?
Yeah.
His little twink.
Aqualad. That's so gay.
Well, that's like Bucky. I mean, if you think about it, Bucky and
It's
Captain
hilariously
America, that's
queer.
got to be the gay. You know how Bucky became Bucky? He's seen Steve Rogers changing clothes.
I've heard that.
That's your claim to being a superhero?
The funny thing about the Robin stuff too is that, like, you know, we see all these comics where Bruce Wayne is this 30-something-year-old man with a teenage boy living with him,
And they're getting massages together.
And we look at it, we go, "Oh, it was a different time." No, people were talking about that shit back then too. People were like, "This shit is inappropriate."
That's why.
Yeah, I've been going back and watching some of these like old Dick Cavett shows and stuff. I watched like Best of Dick Cavett and had a lot of the old Janis Joplin on there. It was really
I've
cool.
seen that. Yeah.
And they had Truman Capote come out there, and nobody had a clear. All talking about why he ain't married.
That's really.
I know even my mom would be talking about Liberace and go, "Oh, he's such a nice boy. He don't mess around with any wild women." My dad looked at me going, "You're not going to see him mess with any either."
Yeah, because they didn't even talk about that back then.
See, my mother-in-law, she didn't even have a clue. She didn't have a clue what gay was. I had to explain it to her. Her sister, well,
it's not
her
that hard
sister's
to.
husband died. I guess the brother-in-law died.
Yeah.
So Lil started hanging out with this gay dude, and they're going to all these antique fairs and stuff. and she goes, "The Chuck's gay," and she goes, "How can two guys have sex?" I go, "Well, one sticks his wiener up the other guy's butthole." I had to explain. Oh my God!
That's what it is.
They actually do that.
That's hilarious. That's like in the old game shows that you watch in the like supermarket sweeps in the 80s, and the two gay guys would go on there, and they would always be their roommate. You remember all the time?
Yeah.
This is my roommate Chad. You know, and when I was a kid, I'm like, "Oh, they're roommates." And then I went back and watched one again like a month ago, and I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense." Okay.
Well, I know I had a cousin was gay, and my Aunt Rita, who was like almost 80 years old, looks at us one time and she goes, "You think they suck each other's dick?"
I would have died.
I about fell on the
died.
I about fell on the floor.
Oh my God.
You don't realize how racist people used to. I try not to be. I really try not to be. I'm the only white guy I work with, basically. Mm-hmm. And
You're the one everybody borrows money from.
Everything's in his name.
Yeah.
But well, I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, you're the only white guy that you work with. You try not to be racist.
I'm not racist. I'm definitely not racist where I work. My family is the first ones to integrate the bars in Highland. We had Freddie Jones, who went to the Wall Street Journal, and they took him to the bar at lunch. They go, "He's with us. Don't fuck with him."
Nice.
So we integrated the bars in Highland. I'm kind of proud of that.
Did
of
you
my
punch
family.
your way into this integration?
Yeah.
Slept with a lot of black women, if you catch my drift. I love it. I'm gonna go take a piss.
But
So how let's get back to the boxing. So you got into boxing in junior high because you were sick of getting beat up on. Is that
yeah,
correct?
I went and did a high school wrestling. I was a middleweight, and I should have been about a welterweight, really.
Okay.
But I was the only one
Welterweight
that
lower
could
or is that higher?
That's lower.
Lower,
I
okay.
probably could have went if I went 147. I think I would have been a lot better.
Okay.
But at 167, I was getting my ass handed to me.
147 and then 160. That's a big
167.
That's a wide range.
I think I could have dropped easily to 155, maybe if I worked out.
Okay, yeah.
I was eating pancakes and stuff, and still making 160. Mm-hmm. So I was under. I'd be actually underweight to go on to do any wrestling. Where these guys are starving themselves down from 220 to get to 160.
Yeah, yeah. I did wrestling in junior high. I remember having to cut weight and shit. That was
And my mom, she was
enjoyable.
always freaking out about, "Oh, you'll be anorexic. Oh, you'll be anorexic." My mom, no help whatsoever. She's always shoving cake in your face and ribs and mashed potatoes. So she had no. I know when my dad had a heart attack, they told her cut out the red meat. So her thought was,
like,
I cook all this meat thoroughly. It's not red. That was her thought.
That's hilarious.
So that's what I was dealing with.
Okay. So you start. How did you? So you had like a club that did it, or you
Yeah,
did it through
once I
school?
got out of, I got
Just your
we
basement
did a lot
fights?
of the backyard, just backyard, and
Was that like bare knuckle shit, or did you guys have gloves? Were there
no,
rules?
we did with gloves in the backyard and stuff, and and I guess I was probably about 18 or about 18 or so. I joined the Belleville Boxing Club,
Okay.
and I always became the sparring partner. And every time you get ready for a fight, you'd have to, it'd be like, you're getting ready for the open mic. You write all your jokes. You show up for the open mic, and you can't go up. Try next month. And that's the way it was with
That's
boxing.
How really?
And you have to always keep yourself on edge. Where most of the fights were in the wintertime, so. And then you get to the card, and then the guy you're supposed to fight pulled out.
So they had boxers like on deck,
Yeah,
in case people pulled out and shit.
yeah.
Interesting.
And there was always a danger that you'd run into somebody who was way better than you. You
Yeah,
get thrown
of
to
course.
the wolves. And that's the way even professional boxing is. There was this one guy like Bigfoot Martin. He had a horrible record of like 5-30 or something like that. I mean, it was a horrible record. But he fought everybody. He fought like Foreman, all the Holyfield. He fought all them guys.
Yeah.
Because he was just a punching bag, and he was willing to go in there and, hey, that's a knockout on my record. So he'd go in there. He wasn't going to take a dive, but he would probably, chances are, he'd probably get knocked out.
Because it's just that level of.
He just raw meat, and just they figured, hey, this is a victory, and it's a live body. I knocked him out. I got a win on my belt.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that goes on in boxing, where it's and then once it gets to the point where you got two guys, or they build it up where you got two guys are 20-0, then that's a big break-off fight.
What's that mean? It's a break.
One's going to go on to be bigger and better.
Oh, okay.
And the other goes down. He might going a tailspin, lose the next three.
Okay, so it's.
And he becomes the trail horse that everybody's got to beat to the doormat that everybody's got to knock out.
So that's a shit or get off the pot fucking make or break.
I mean,
fight.
I came that close to honestly fighting Mike Tyson.
Fighting Mike Tyson?
I would have been they was going to wanting sparring partners out at the Olympic training camp in, what was it, 84?
God.
Yeah.
Back in Tyson's fucking glory.
Tyson's prime, he's 18 years old, and he was killing everybody at the
Killing everybody. Killing them.
What year was this?
84, I think.
Okay.
80, yeah.
He was in that early?
Yeah. I mean, that would have been.
Yeah, it was probably like 83.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I won my Golden Gloves fight, and I put the guy in the hospital.
Jesus.
They said the Belleville papers got a write-up, said my left jab was going through the back of his head.
That's pretty sweet. Tell me you have that article.
Yeah, I would.
I
Definitely
do.
have
I
kept that.
posted on Facebook somewhere.
That's
Badass.
awesome. That's fucking awesome. And you were going to get that opportunity to not to have a fight with him, but to be a sparring partner?
Well, they needed sparring partners. I didn't know who Mike Tyson was. They just said, hey, we need sparring partners. I thought, well, this is a glorious opportunity. I can go out there and kick some ass. I'll be in the fucking Olympics.
Yeah.
I didn't know I'd have got my fucking ass handed to me.
Dude, he's
By
terrifying.
a machine.
Going back and like watching.
I'd have been dumb. At that age, I'd been dumb enough to get in the ring with him.
Going back and watching him and like, on YouTube and those fights. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I'll eat your babies.
Yeah, but it's not even like, I'll eat your babies. It's like, I'll eat your babies.
Yeah. Like.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
the classic
This dude
interview
is a
was
psycho.
his first like Sunday afternoon fight. I can't remember the guy's Jesse Ferguson or somebody he fought. He hit him with an uppercut, and they go, well, Mike, what was your thoughts? I wish I could have hit him a little bit harder and drove the cartilage into his brain. They're like, oh, thank you, Mr. Tyson. Have a good day.
Yeah.
That's when you knew the guy was fucking nuts.
The vicious thing, but then it's sounding like a baby is saying it.
Yeah.
Is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Jesse
list
Taylor
really
has
adds-
a great story about Mike Tyson. He used to own the comedy club in Florissant. It was, I can't think of the name of it, Laugh Lounge or wherever it was.
Okay.
But he was out in Vegas with D.L. Hughley, and they run into Mike Tyson, and they're all partying with him. And they go, hey, guys want to go with me partying? Yeah, sure,
Guys
Mike,
wanna
we'll
do
go
some
with
blow?
you. And they're driving along. He goes, hey, you guys want your dick sucked? Oh, Mike, that's okay. No, I'll get your dick sucked. Watch this. He pulled the limos. They have the limousine pull over, and a bunch of girls would gather around. And they, oh, look, it's the champ. And, oh, there's D.L. Hughley. I don't know who this guy is. That's D.L. Hughley. That's Mike Tyson. Hey, ladies, how would you like a big black cock in your mouth? Oh, no. And they did that about 3 times. The third time, they're like, Mike, that's quite all right. And they pull over again for the third time. And they go, hey, ladies, how would you like a big black cock in your mouth? Sure. And they all piled in the car.
Oh my Christ!
So did he get his dick sucked?
Yes.
Imagine getting
He
your
was
dick
telling
sucked
this
with
story
Mike
while
Tyson.
Screech was on stage. It was way better than fucking Screech's material.
Oh, I guarantee it was.
R.I.P.
God, dude, can you imagine you're in the back of a fucking limousine? I know you didn't say this, but they're doing cocaine with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're doing blow with Mike Tyson, and then he gets your dick sucked. I mean, like, where do
Yeah,
you
just
go from
imagine
there?
getting a blowy beside Mike Tyson.
You know he's watching.
What's up, champ?
Yeah, you know he's watching. Like he's not like, but he's
You're
not.
trying to make eye contact.
Yeah, but I imagine that Tyson.
I got you this.
I imagine like he's not gay about it. He's just like he's really enjoying the fact that you're enjoying it. You know what
He
I'm
made
saying?
you happy.
Right. Like, yeah, you like that. That's good. Yeah. Okay. Make sure you don't use any
Lick his
teeth.
balls. Lick his balls.
Oh, God, he likes
damn,
that.
What a great fucking Tyson party story.
Okay, so when
There's some great fucking road stories out there. There's these 1-2 guys. They picked up a drunk chick at the comedy club one night, took her back, and they did the Devil's
three-way, yeah.
with her. And they just fucked the shit out of her. And they wake up the next morning, they sobered up. She didn't. She was
dead.
retarded.
Oh my God! Repeat that. Oh my God!
They're like, what are we going to do? Also, they realized she was like, had autism or something. She's like, what the fuck are we going to do? We're
They
going to go to jail.
tag-teamed a retarded girl.
Yeah.
They thought that she was drunk.
They thought she was drunk. They were drunk. They thought they were all drunk. Well, it turned out she was, special
Where'd
needs.
they find her?
At the comedy, at the
Oh, at the
bar, they had
comedy club.
at
That
the
was
bar
the
after.
strongest hand job I've ever had. She let me do anything.
And they go, what are we going to do? We'll just drop her off at the park. She'll find her way home.
Oh my God. Dude, I had a buddy who fucking went to the bar one night and he picked up this girl and he said, she talked like this. And she wasn't retarded, but she fell off a horse.
Yeah.
Okay? And it fucked her.
Fucked up her speech.
Fucked up her speech and shit,
So
right?
mentally she was there, but talked
Bingo.
stupid.
So he goes to, her house and he takes her home and, he hooks up with her and he says that she has all these stuffed animals who watch, And he says that when he leaves, he took her handicap parking space and got handicap parking for like the next couple
God.
of years, man.
That is so illegal.
I know, it's fucked up, isn't it?
Yeah, don't tell
I had
Joe. Get him
I had a
fucking...
buddy. I ain't going to name his name. He probably wouldn't want me naming his name here on the podcast, but he picked up this chick at the Rail Shake Bar in Highland late. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, you'll do kind of things. Took her back to his apartment. He's fucking the shit out of her. It's like 9.5 weeks. They're bouncing off the fucking walls. And he's fucking her against the bathroom door. He's fucking her against the bathroom door, and the bathroom door comes open. And he falls down. She hits her head on the toilet,
no.
knocks herself cold. He
Oh,
thought
God.
he killed her.
Yeah, bro.
And he's like, I go, well, did you finish? He's thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? They probably got my DNA in her. Am I going to have to roll her in the carpet and throw her out in the field somewhere?
Oh my Christ.
That's how a lot of hookers die in
I think
movies.
she woke up, peed the bed or something on him, and they woke up and everything was fine.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Yeah, she had that head concussion, so we made sure to get her right to bed.
Yeah. She could never legally drive again, but she was okay. Fucking beautiful.
Yeah, how big of a part was boxing in your life?
I loved it. I always watched it every week. Back in them days, they had on Saturday and Sunday every afternoon free.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, they'd have Ray Mancini one day, Alexis Arguello the next, Roberto Duran the next, Sugar Ray Leonard. They had all the big fighters. Then it started getting more as pay-per-view, and they'd show the pay-per-view like a week later on Saturday afternoon or a Monday night or something. They'd have big pay-per-view like fights on ABC and NBC.
Okay.
And the fact that you were from St. Louis, I mean, that means that you were in that environment. You were like, because there were a lot of big fights there.
Yeah, back then, I think it was kind of dying back then. I mean, at the Belleville, there wasn't that many fighters. It was hard for me to get any. It was hard for me to get any fights.
Well, why was it?
I
dying?
think at my weight class.
Oh, okay.
That was light heavyweight. I'd had to go to like, probably California or Philadelphia or Chicago.
Really, it's just not a big enough market
Not
for
a
it.
big enough. Just there wasn't. Most of the probably. It was getting back then where all the fights were either in Atlantic City or Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It wasn't. Even Chicago and St. Louis were probably big fight. Back in the day.
In the 50s or something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of big name fighters. Sonny Liston, I think he was from St. Louis. Henry Armstrong.
Right.
He was at my fight, by the way.
Really? What
Yeah.
was he doing there?
He was just he owned a boys club or something like that. Or he was a manager or a president of a boys club.
Did you think
He
maybe...
he was like the celebrity in the audience. They always announce celebrities. Hey, it's Coach so and so from Belleville East, and it's Henry Armstrong.
Welcome, Captain Kangaroo, down in the front row there.
I was at some fights one time, and it was Chuck Norris,
Wow.
Ken Norton, and Dave Casper and Bob Forsch from the Cardinals.
And you were fighting at those fights?
No, I was just
You was
watching.
there? Yeah. That's awesome.
But Chuck Norris, he's only about that tall.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. You don't realize.
I was
that-
totally disappointed, but Norton was a giant of a man, and George Foreman sent him flying through the air.
Well, the way that you did know your high school fights with those crash test dummies over the years.
One time we went down to, I'd go take, when my buddy moved down to Tennessee, I'd take gloves with me when I go down there, and we have a boxing tournament down in the basements and stuff.
God damn.
We went over to his brother's house, and he had a big hootenanny. I took on 6 guys,
Oh,
one
Jesus
after the
Christ.
other, and whipped all of their asses.
You took on 6 guys.
in
They
a
ran
row.
a train on you.
Yeah, I took them, and I just grabbed them, wad them up in a ball, and they'd be tapping out.
So when you say they'd be tapping out, you weren't just boxing, you were wrestling?
Yeah, more doing submission wrestling.
How'd you know about the submission wrestling?
I was a wrestler. I was a high school
Oh, that's
wrestler.
right. Talked about that, right.
And I knew how to do a crossface. I do a leg pick on them, wad them up in a cradle, and just push them together.
Yeah.
Where their balls are getting ready to, meet their chin.
Yeah, I think I'd tap out of that too.
'Cause I knew how to do. I had the figure 4 pulled on me. It's where they hook your back leg, and then they basically do almost like a half Nelson. Except it's not with both arms. Just one arm goes under that, and then
Yeah.
one arm goes under the other, and then they basically pull your head towards your balls.
Yeah.
I came close to biting this big old set of balls, and I realized I had red trunks. Those were my balls.
You like how he slid in there? They were a big old set of balls.
I saw the biggest cock I ever seen before in my
Right.
face.
Killer, man. Fucking badass. God damn.
So how many fights you been, or how many sanctioned boxing matches?
I was only really in one, but I
Really?
did a lot of unsanctioned stuff. And we, like the Post-Dispatch, we had Kim there, who was the Missouri State kickboxing champion. We'd go down the basement, me, him, and a bunch of other guys, and just beat on each other for the whole time, for an hour and a half.
Sounds hot.
We had one guy there named Shannon who thought he was, I think he might have owned his own karate school or something. And we called him Buddha. And he'd always have these theories. If you came at me with a knife, I would block it with this hand, and then with this hand, I'd rip your heart out. And you'd be aghast at seeing you're still beating heart, and I'd shove it into your mouth. He'd have okay, dude, let's put some gloves on. Motherfucker couldn't get near me.
Yeah.
I looked like Ali. I was just pumping a jab in his face. Fucker hauls off from roundhouse, kicks me in the fucking sciatic nerve.
Ooh.
Jesus.
God damn. What happened then? Did you go to your fucking
I
knees?
stepped into a hook and bounced him off the fucking rolls of paper.
God
He
damn.
hit that and his fucking pants fell down around his ankles.
So was he a part of those, like, back in the day, like you hear fucking Joe Rogan talking about it, and I mean, fuck, I even remember it. The bullshit make-believe karates that people
Yeah,
had.
yeah.
The
There was a
very
dude
early
from Belleville. There was a
iterations.
dude from Belleville. He was he'd go to they had MMA. I'd have been good at MMA. It was
Yeah.
before
So before your time,
it just started
after rather.
when I was getting ready to quit, because Kim, before he left the Post-Dispatch, he was going to be the first runner-up in one of the MMA tournaments. like an alternate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think he ever made it to the TV.
God damn.
But he was gonna, and he had me out there. He put his hands on top of his head and had me hit him hard as he could in the gut to toughen him up.
Like he's fucking Harry Houdini.
Yeah, that's how
Christ.
Houdini died. He had to be reading fan mail at the same
He's
time.
wanting to get used to getting hit in the gut, and he'd have me wail on him. He was a
God
bad
damn.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
He was in a bar one night, and this guy started calling him a fag. It's like, dude, that's not a good idea. That's like grabbing a bear cub by the head. And the guy said, foot, and he got the second foot. Kim hit him with an elbow. Knocked the motherfucker cold.
Damn.
Badass.
Whatever happened to that guy?
I lost track of him. I know he opened his own karate school. But he had a record of like 45-3 or something like that.
See, that sounds legit, but I mean, again, throughout the
That's
80s
more
and
water,
90s, there were
I'm good.
There were so many fucking like bullshit martial arts.
Well,
Like,
they
break
had this one
board.
dude. He was selling his own videos before it was cool. I mean, it was still on VHS.
Like
you
he's
know.
goddamn Tim Loss.
Respect to hustle.
But anyhow, he was selling his own VHS tapes.
Okay.
And at the fights, his knockouts. Well, he got invited, finally worked his way up to MMA. He made it 15 seconds. He gets out there doing all his fucking karate shit. This guy grabs him by the back of the head and drove a knee into his face.
Oh,
Lights
Jesus.
out. Party's
Yeah.
over.
he died right there.
Yeah, when they first started the UFC, they had a bunch of people like that that were. It's like, this guy can do the whatever to rip your eye out, and they're like, well, what kind of? This is also when they didn't have rules
Well, but that's also back when there was
or weight classes.
there was no practical application to substantiate these martial arts claims.
Yeah.
It wasn't until UFC or mixed martial arts came along that these dudes came and the Gracies who were real were separated from the dudes who I'll rip your beating heart out.
Yeah.
Those guys. But every now and then, in those early fucking UFC days, you would see some fucking badass shit. Who was that black guy that fucking? I think he was facing some big white dude, and he did the fucking most badass martial arts roll up. It was like a pro wrestling crucifix, and then he used his fucking elbows on the guy's head. Every now and then, you would see some action movie shit, but mainly it was big wrestlers just ripping guys' heads off for like the first 4 years of UFC.
Well, yeah, it was basically Gracie was the one that kind of. He's the one that kind of
Created it. He kind of
Yeah.
It was kind of honestly the
Them
first
guys would get him down. They couldn't do nothing with him, and then they try to get away, and he'd extend their arm.
Yeah. Gracie, I mean, because his family started UFC and then sold it, I believe, a few years, like in 2000 to the Zufas or whatever, the entertainment group. Because Gracie had a very boring, it was very effective, but it was a boring fucking martial arts style.
But he did beat the shit out of Shamrock.
They fought a few times, though.
Yeah. I know he cleaned his clock that one fight.
They had that one goddamn fight that went 30 minutes. Because this is back, because now obviously UFC is multiple rounds, yada, yada. Back then it was 30 minutes, you get in the ring, somebody going to die. Not, you know what I mean? And it was
it was kind of boring. It almost looked like gay porn,
It was, but that fight that he had with Shamrock was the most boring fight I've ever seen. It was 30 minutes of them on the mat and the crowd booing the entire fucking time.
Why? Oh, just because they're down, it's not exciting, or what?
Yeah, well, because
that's the way wrestling was kind of like that in the early days,
oh yeah,
where they'd have these long matches where guys would be in a headlock for an hour at a time.
they would. Yeah, there's actually famous stories of turn of the century wrestling back before it was a word when pro wrestling was.
You know, my
pro
uncle,
wrestling.
my great uncle was fought Ed Gotch and Strangler Lewis.
Really, your great uncle?
Yeah.
So did he wrestle them? Wrestling?
And he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles,
Oh my god, what year was this?
like 1900s,
Jeez, like so this
like
is
1919, something like that.
so. What the funny thing is pro wrestling still may have been a work even back then. So was he actually fighting Gotch?
Oh yeah, that was. I think it was more. It was more on the level back then.
Right. Well, it was, but it was still kind of. Sometimes
Yeah.
it was still kind of because you're right, because it would start, and it was when it was real. People didn't
Ben Roller. You can look him. He's got a Wikipedia page.
really.
Yeah.
That was your great uncle.
Yeah.
Wow, Ben Roller. That's so fucking cool. Yeah,
And he owns a victory over Ed Gotch and Strangler Lewis. If you watch the old Mighty Joe, the original Mighty Joe Young,
yeah.
they have the 7 strongest men in the world, and Strangler Lewis was one of them. He could pop a basketball with his arm.
Yeah, Ben Roller, Wikipedia. There we go. This was your great uncle, 1876 to 1933, a physician, a professional wrestler, and a football player from Newman, Illinois. Died when he was 56 years old. God damn, the Pittsburgh Athletic Club.
He was a hell of a specimen, wasn't he?
Fuck yeah, he was. That's unbelievable. That's so cool. He grew up on his family's farm.
That's like my grandma's uncle.
That's so, and were there all these different stories that your family passed down?
No,
and
I
shit?
never knew it till my cousins started digging into. See, my grandma died before I was born, so and then my mom and dad didn't marry till they were like 35, so I never hardly knew my grandparents. My grandpa Lancey died when I was 2.
Yeah.
And then the other one died when I was probably 9 or 10.
Wow.
It's 1970. So I was probably 8.
Oh, okay.
He later, so in 1906, he becomes a full-time professional wrestler. His first match, 2 falls in a period of 17 minutes. He received $1,600. $1,600 in 1906. That is yeah, that's
so much fucking money.
After that, he started having matches around the Northwest under the names Dr. Roller, Dr. Benjamin
It's
Roller.
got to be like 50 grand.
Yeah,
Or
and
50 or 100.
He next wrestled Frank Gotch. Frank Gotch was the Hulk Hogan of that period in an exhibition match for which he received $4,000. God damn. See, I've read about how pro wrestling before basketball stars and baseball stars and all that shit, pro wrestlers were the number 1 paid athletes in the world. $4,000. After the bout with Gotch, Roller decided to use wrestling as a tool for traveling the world and studying under the noted professors in both the U.S. and Europe. Over the span of his career, Roller defeated many of the top wrestlers of his day. That included Farmer Burns, Fred Beal, Ed Lewis, and Joe Stetcher. Wow.
Ed Strangler Lewis.
From 06 to 18, Roller posted a record of 39 wins, 26 losses, and 4 draws in 69 matches. He was the first wrestler who accepted the open challenge by Ghulam Muhammad Baksh Butt, a.k.a. the Great Gama. What a fucking life this motherfucker had. Oh, my God.
As one, my cousin was just digging in the family tree, and she found that stuff.
That's so cool. And then after all that, he was taken out by pneumonia.
Yeah, here's my article for my fight.
Oh, shit. So what year was this?
1983, I think it was.
God damn.
Oh, crackerjack, Joe Lancey.
Lancey, the former triad wrestler, better known as Animal, spent 2 rounds flailing with Bounds before he began punishing him with a left jab that seemingly came out of the back of Bounds' head.
That's
That is
fantastic.
badass.
What a badass way of your fighting being described. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's fucking rad, dude.
Do you mind if I see it there? I got to see this. Appreciate you. There we go. There's the article. Oh, I don't know if I got pulled up there. That's so fucking cool. I just at one point I wish somebody would describe me that way. For you, man. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I was a mean motherfucker at one time.
Sounds like you still are. Yeah,
Yeah.
when was the last time you got into a fight, Joe?
Well, my friend Chris
Define
Steele,
fight.
probably when he was at the Post-Dispatch. And the Post-Dispatch, them guys were crazy.
Sounds like it.
The Votaw brothers, the one is the one that tied the line to the doghouse that I always tell him I joke.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one shot a homeless guy in the leg with a bow and arrow. Chased him down and got
Why?
the arrow back.
What,
Well, some guy's showing off. I'm going turkey hunting this weekend. He goes, really? Can I see your bow and arrow? Boom! Shot this homeless guy walking down the street. The guy's like, oh, fuck, here's your arrow. Here's your bow and arrow.
Oh, my God.
Were there
And
no rules or laws in the 70s and 80s and 60s? I mean,
Oh,
that-
it was nuts.
Yeah, dude, the stories you tell sounds like you grew up in the 1800s.
It does. Threw him off a building.
I got into
little
a fight
slap
with
on
an
the wrist.
engine boy.
Yeah, yeah. Is that you?
Yeah.
God damn! Look
Shit.
at that! Look at that! Looked like Keith Whitley getting ready to open up a
Damn,
can of whoop
yeah.
ass.
Fucking
God
wild
damn.
shit.
What year? That picture of you on the left. What year was that from?
That's when I won That's when I won the fight.
Oh, fucking
Nice.
badass, man!
In the green and yellow trunks.
You could have been a contender.
So who was your one fight with?
Don Bounds, whoever he was.
Mm-hmm. Did you knock his fucking head off?
Oh yeah, he was puking up. He had a concussion.
He had a concussion.
Yeah, they went and said he had a concussion, and then after that, nobody wanted to fight me.
Really? You know what though? And this
I
is
was
back,
too good.
It's back in the '80s where concussions, the magnitude of the health effects weren't understood.
Nope.
So it was like, oh, you got your bell rung. No, you ruined that man's
No,
life.
you have brain damage.
Yeah, he's gonna wind up shooting himself in a Hardee's parking lot 20 years from now.
Yeah, nobody really cared. You just there's my dad.
Oh yeah, he does look like
Big
George
boy,
the
yeah.
Animal Steel. Let me see a picture. He looks like George the. That's hilarious. He really does look like George Steele. That's funny, man. Not as hairy.
No, he ain't as hairy. He was hairy, but he wasn't as hairy as him.
That motherfucker wore a wool sweater all the time.
That's my grandpa Hennel. He looked like Wyatt Earp, don't he?
Ah, that's amazing.
That's like my grandma's
That's
dad.
cool as fuck.
That's a badass motherfucker right there. What year was that taken, you know?
It has to be 1800s.
That's
I got
so
a bunch of
badass.
pictures from the 1800s. I didn't know who they were. Me and my cousin started going through them, did some geology research.
Yeah, I need to do that.
All right, boys, let's land this plane. Did an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Got a long trip home. Got a show tomorrow night.
Joe, you were fucking killer, bro. This motherfucker.
I'm just glad you didn't punch us.
Yeah, just full of stories, bro. This is like he's the best guest on a podcast ever. Like, you know when like one of the offhand stories towards the end of the podcast is, oh yeah, a buddy of mine shot a homeless guy in the leg with a bow and arrow.
What the fuck?
Anyway, I'll see you guys later. It was a good show.
Anyway, later. Gotta get back to St. Louis.
That's killer, man. That's awesome.
That's fucking wild.
Oh yeah, it never did get to my last fight. We were in a bar and this big dude goes and picks up an old man, throws him into the jukebox. I just went in to ask my friend Chris, do you want to go to the hockey game tomorrow night? I'm walking in the door. Here comes an old man flying through the air into the jukebox. And Chris, he was kind of effeminate looking. He walks up and goes, I don't think you should do that. And the guy thought, well, I'm going to kick this faggot's ass. And he would reach back like this here to hit Chris. Here comes the president of our union, pulled this guy's shirt over his head, hit him with a block of ice and a 12-pack of beer.
Jesus.
I mean, hit him with this fucking like case of beer, or was here a 12-pack or a case? Slams it over his head. Beer cans go flying everywhere. Ice cubes go flying everywhere.
Was this Roadhouse? Was Patrick
Missouri Bar and
Swayze the
Grill.
bouncer?
Missouri Bar and Grill? It was a hoot.
Yeah. There was some guy running scams.
And then this guy's buddy pulls a knife on me, and I hit him one punch, knock him down. I was like, the guy gets up, he's like, I go, Joe, he has cerebral palsy.
Well, he pulled a knife on me, motherfucker. He does now.
I knocked the guy out with cerebral palsy.
What if you fixed it?
That's my last fight.
What if you?
Yeah, that's a good one to go out on.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
Yeah, I beat up this retarded guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see a
Nothing.
couple people. If I ever catch him, I'd punch him in the face. There's a couple people out there I ever catch again.
I was gonna say, I feel like you still have a long list of people on your punch list.
I imagine it's in his back pocket everywhere he goes.
There's just a scroll in your back
There's a
pocket.
disturbing amount of names scratched off too.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Well, all right. Well, good night, Street Kings. Joe, thanks a lot for doing this, man.
All
That's a
right.
lot of fun.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Good night.
I made this.